going on, everybody? USC Esports back with some more Valorant tonight. My name is Meepster, and I will be solo casting for you today. We will be getting started momentarily. We are waiting for the Valorant teams to finish setting up. Yeah, so today we are going to be playing against St. Mary. I am having a massive blank on where they are from, but they are a school, they exist, and we are playing them today. So yeah, we're just on standby, waiting for them. It looks like they are trying to sort some stuff out, and then we should be starting within a couple of minutes. So 2-minute warning. Yeah, 2-minute warning. All right. I'm seeing some R's get thrown in the chat. It looks like we're starting sooner than expected. Here we go. First map, Haven. All right. Upstate is going to be on the attack, and yeah, this is sort of our standard team comp. Yoru, I haven't seen in the last couple of games, but Waylay, Omen, Fade, these are their typical ones, their standards. Killjoy, haven't seen a whole lot of that, so that's nice to see. Locking an Omen, like I said, Yoru hasn't been played in the last couple of games, so it's nice to see that coming out again. And then St. Mary, this feels like a 2019-2020s Worlds comp. You've got the really quick entry with Neon, the 1.0 of Waylay, Sova, Killjoy, Breach, and Omen. I personally love to see Breach. I think Breach is such an underutilized character just because of how much pressure he can put out from so far away across the map. Like, his whole kit is just so good, and as long as you can get the timing down on it with your teammates, he can be absolutely devastating, especially with that ult. All right, here we go. Upstate, going for a C push with a Killjoy lurking window. That is certainly an interesting strategy, but they're not going to expect a Killjoy of all things to be lurking up mid. Hey, dap me up, Raze. All right, and they're off. Neon on site, turret watching long. Yoru setting up some very techie lineups here. This TP makes it to back site. St. Mary with a good flash. There's the eye, Waylay on site. Neon ratting in the smoke, chooses to give. Killjoy working up mid. Waylay taking a bit of damage, but Spike is down. Time is now ticking. St. Mary, not a whole lot of space to work with, but they still have a good bit of their util. There's a smoke down mid long. Not going to get much value. KJs have spotted each other. St. Mary sending Omen on a flank. KJ's unaware, immediately headshot. There's the breach stun. Neon dashing onto site. Gets a good pick. There's 4. Upstate, 1 left. It's an Omen and a dream. Not able to find one. St. Mary with a phenomenal flawless in the first round, hardly taking any damage. They saved a lot of their util, and like I said earlier, that breach stun, it definitely hit at least one person. I think it displaced 2 others too. That util is just absolutely incredible usage. I would have loved to see some, like, either the Waylay or the Yoru pushing up there for Upstate. Like that Neon dashing in, that was phenomenal gameplay. I would have loved to see Waylay try to take some space, follow up behind that Fade Dog, Omen blind through into B, and get a really good dash in from Yoru. Run in, kill somebody, TP out. Round 2, fight. Silva looking down long. Spotted, ooh! Good shot, Spike down. Upstate slowing down. Breach stun hits 3. We're on long, not able to get the Sova, but does hurt him. Upstate slowing down, not sure what's waiting for them on the other side of the smoke. Quick jump through. Fake plant, Sova dart, doesn't catch anything. Ooh, sprayed down through the smoke, unfortunate, but a quick trade through. Killjoy running up flank, spotted out. Whaley with a good pick, Whaley with a double! Oh, the sewers shot. 2v1. Oof, not able to connect. And there's a judge straight to the face. Oh. Little bit of bait on who's getting the spike. But St. Mary, regardless, will be taking this round. Somebody get Omen a splint, please. I think his knee's hurting a little bit. Phenomenal use out of that outlaw, though. I love how Valorant added these new guns, especially stuff like the Outlaw and the Bandit, you know? These sort of in-between guns between different things. Like, the difference between the Marshal and the Op was incredible. Outlaw fills that hole, same thing. Ghost, Sheriff, Bandit, right in the middle. A little bit maybe too expensive for my taste, but still, it fills that niche gap. And I love seeing them used here because you don't see them a whole lot, you know? Like, sure, people will use the Outlaw if they're, like, maybe playing Chamber. Or, say, if you're Jet, you'll get the Bandit. Alright, and we're starting off. Round 3, your clone already got used, but so far, nothing else. Just an exchange of a couple of bullets. I'm still staring at my beautiful face. Alright. Breach, lurking up sewers. Jiggles, spots Yoru, nothing else. Upstate making a mad dash down long. Stun misses. St. Mary making a quick rotate, but may not be quick enough. Upstate on the side, Breach still sitting in sewers. Dog caught him in the corner, does spot him in the corner. Good pick. Upstate 4v5, I don't think that alarm bot's fully in the smoke. I think it's just outside. Never mind, smoke drops, it no longer matters. Ooh, St. Mary with a good pick on the Ghost. 4v4, Omen is half health. This is where it starts to get spicy, folks. Upstate need this round if they want a fighting chance. Gets a good pick out. Quick trades out. All right, it's 2v2 now. 1v2. Omen on site. Can he get it? Good read, not able to connect it. St. Mary by the hair of their chinny chin chin pull the round out. 3-0. See, Upstate had a really good hold there. They had really good placements. They had really good timing on their stuff, but I feel like they overcommitted too much stuff. Like Killjoy, I think definitely could have put the alarm bot down on that doorway, but I would have loved to see them, you know, put a swarm grenade or two on Spike and just play time, you know? If they had time right there, I feel like Upstate would have been able to win that a lot better, and I am experiencing some technical difficulties. Chat, I am frozen completely solid, but my beautiful face is still shining through. I apologize for that. It appears our caster is now fixed. We are back. All right, nobody's dead, but Upstate is going for what looks like a B push on an eco round. All right, alarm bot spots, connects, breach stun, Omen flash, Fade Dog slowed. Just a massive spending of utility here. Nothing too much else going on. Just still sitting outside of B. And Jack Frost has touched my computer again. It is frozen. Wait. It's melting. And we're back to Upstate getting double tapped by an Omen. 5v3 for St. Mary. All right, Upstate have control of Garage, but not much outside of that. That's a good smoke. Yor jumps up, caught out. His kneecaps are missing, chat. All right, Omen with a triple. Whaley gets a good pick. Upstate going for a plant. They need this money. Money secured. Good jump peek. Good pre-fire. Doesn't fully connect. Oof. Watch out, displacement, and there it is. Upstate with a good pick on the eco round, but not able to get much out of that. They have 2 ults, they got the eco money, but aside from that, it is St. Mary 4-0. Ooh. I wonder if they're going to pull out the Odin with that or if that's just a taunt. Now, Upstate are putting up a really good fight here, but it feels like they're just spread out too much. Like, I don't know. Like, Upstate is putting up a really good fight here. It feels like they're committing too much utility at the start of these fights. Like, they blow Waylay Dash, Fade Eye, Fade Dog, Omen Smokes. You would need the Omen Smokes, actually. But it feels like they're committing a lot of this utility. And St. Mary is just pulling back, letting them hit all their buttons. Ooh, very close to a pick there, but not quite the reaction time. I would love to see Upstate maybe pull back a little bit on their utility usage. Good swing, good kill. Upstate on the board quickly. Ooh, Silva with a quick trade, though, with the 100. All right, that is spiked down, but that isn't ult committed for it. 4v4 St. Mary pulling 2 over to A, but Upstate has already pulled the plug. There's ratting over to C. Oh. Jiggle out window. Spotted. Not hit. Not really a trade going. Aftershock. Phenomenal flash. Oh, Yoru's caught staring into the sun, and he is dead. All right, Upstate 3v4, but they have 2 ults. 2v4 now. That's a good pick by the Breach. That's a double for him. That Phantom putting in incredible work. Good spray control there out of Darwin. All right, 2v3. They have your English. It's complicated. They have Omen ult, but they're choosing to just hoof it to A. St. Mary not getting a read. Chat, their book is closed. They think it's still a B hit. Waylay getting a quick dash on. They know now. It's a good stun onto Omen, but nothing much else comes of it. They heard him Heaven. They know he's there. They don't know about everyone else. Silva with a good dart. Spots Omen. Doesn't spot Waylay. They know he's under, but they can't do much about it. Good pop. Good flick. And that is St. Mary. 5-0. Phenomenal timing from them for that. Upstate caught spread out from each other. Caught solo. Really unfortunate. And that is the Earthquake. Primed and ready. St. Mary 5-0. Timeout coming in for Upstate. This is really good right here. I love this timeout. I love seeing teams use these timeouts very effectively. Now, Upstate, I would have preferred to have seen that last round, but better late than never. Now, I love this because it gives Upstate a chance to pull back and say, okay, what is happening to us? How are we dying? And get a solid game plan going here. Plus, this kills a lot of the momentum that St. Mary has built up, and that is big too because a lot of the times after Upstate takes a timeout, they win almost always the next round, and I think half the time the next 2 or 3 rounds. So this is a really good chance for Upstate to just catch their breath, recollect themselves, and hit this head on. Now, St. Mary do get a chance to do this too, but it is a lot less in their favor. They can still chat it out. They can still say, oh, we're doing really great on this. Let's keep it going. But Upstate making great use of this. 5 seconds left, and we are ready. Now, St. Mary's team, I love this composition because this is a very dynamic team. You know, if they need to play hyper aggressive, they can. They have a Neon Dash, they have a Breach Flash, they have Omen Flash. If they need to play a bit more passively and bait stuff out, they can. Upstate's team, in the same boat too, not quite in the same caliber though. You're able to get in and get these picks quickly, but he relies a lot on his teammates to help out as well. All right, Omen in, turret, immediately broken. Quick flick with the op! Phenomenal pick. Yours on site, not able to TP out in time. 3v5 for Upstate. Good blind. Fatal committed. Upstate not committing with that. Killjoy. D1 Ratter right here. Catches the blind. Nothing happens for it. Good trigger control. Get spotted. Gets one. Swings out, gets two. Phenomenal picks for Upstate here. They are back in the round. KJ has ult. Omen has ult as well. Neither going to be committed. Upstate. Oh, that eye is unfortunate placement. I sit corrected. KJ ult committed. Ooh. All right, St. Mary sending the Omen back. Fade does get picked out, unfortunately. Neon coming in. There's a stun. Wall committed. Dashes by. One's waiting to see if teammate comes through. Ooh, not able to fully control the spray in time to save his teammate. 1v2. Smoking 5. Both TPs. How is he going to be able to play this? They know he's on that side. Oh, not able to get the pre-fire. Good hold out of St. Mary. Upstate. Lose the round. Spike going to Sova. He's got to be close to that Hunter again. Upstate 0-6. That op putting in really great stopping power for St. Mary. Especially on C site, I love seeing these ops because it is such a test of your reaction time. You know, can you react quickly enough to get that kill? Especially against like a Yoru, a Waylay, these characters that are known for moving very fast. Having that reaction time is absolutely crucial, and that really could have bit him in the butt. Upstate. Ooh. We're going back to gold lobbies, folks. This is a 5-man to A. Earl goes to sewers, doesn't spot the Sova in time, gets the pick, and the rat runs away. He's got a shorty out. He smells the bigger rat of Yoru. Pops out, Bucky in hand, gets one, not able to hit the TP for the turnaround. Unfortunate spacing. Upstate 3v5. All right, Spartans, what will you do now? Killjoy lurking up grass. Unfortunate sidestep there. They know St. Mary heard them. They're full sending it now. Smoke, unfortunate placement on that. There's a massive gap there, folks. Plant going out. Double swarm grenade comes through. Oof, Omen taking a massive chunk there. If that shock dart was a little bit quicker, he definitely would have died. I say corrected, he is dead. That's a triple for the Sova. Shock dart down. Good pick, that's a quadra for him. Will they give him the ace or will they clutch the round? They're just gonna send that out, folks. St. Mary, 7-0. Sova making phenomenal use of his utility there. That shock dart was a really good bounce. I think Upstate right there should have committed the Omen ult because they knew that KJ and Sova at the very least were set up there. You send Upstate out. Omen ult all the way to Narnia back on A site. Get the free plant. You may not win the round there, but at the very least, you've got the Omen ult down, you've got the spike planted, and that is time. That is time that St. Mary has to commit running through their spawn, which sets them up to be picked off. But I just neither here nor there. Raise that me up, homie. Breach singing a note and on the beat window, doesn't find anything. Omen getting picked off, that's a quick trade back to Fate, but KJ's dead as well through the op. Let's say on an eco, whatever kills they can get are going to be value here, but will that op pick off more? How many more will be sacrificed for it? Good pre-fire by the Yoru, phenomenal read, picture book for children. All right, Breach sitting in the corner of A. Upstate unaware that there's a big man Blastoise. Waylay dash in. I don't think he got spotted there. There's one. There's two. Gets a good pick. Not able to TP in time. And that is St. Mary, 8-0. Upstate putting up a good fight there. But, like I said earlier, that op putting in phenomenal work. And Upstate just not able to react in time too. Yoru had a phenomenal pick there. That was a great read, but that was him going for that fight. Upstate need to find a way to take more fights themselves. If they can figure out a way to track down St. Mary's timing and get on top of that, this will turn around very quickly because the biggest thing that you can do is get someone else's number and blow up their phone. Yoru clone walking it down. Immediately broken. There's 2 garage, 1 on B. Upstate unaware, but quick trade, nothing much. There's the breach ult. It finds 4. And there's the 5th, picked off by that op, putting in God's work. Good neon stun, good breach stun. Sing with the Odin. It gets spotted. Valorant robs him of the headshot. Those bullets just giving him a buzz cut. There's a quick trade back. 4v4. There's a man gong, folks. That's a double for him. Quickly traded, but that is still 2 down. Upstate committing the plant here. I don't know about this. There's that up with a double. Recon into the smoke. Doesn't spot him, but they know he's outside of it. And he gets picked off. A lamb led to the slaughter. It must be a very interesting penny on the ground over there somewhere. St. Mary will eventually defuse, though. 9-0. Upstate, it feels like they just can't get into their flow state. Like, they're doing really well here, but it feels like they're doing it on their own. Like, this Yori's getting a good pick. Whaley's dashing onto site, but it feels like there's no follow-up there after it. Like, there's no Fade Dog to come in after Waylay dashes. No Yorublind bouncing off the wall either. Omen smokes. It's an Omen smoke. You know, it's going to be there. It's going to exist. But outside of that, you know, what else can Upstate do? They need to find a way to play with each other here. It feels very split up. Up not getting a pick. Fake TP doesn't get much of anything. Omino getting committed. That's a good pick. That op is down. Storm Grenade's out. The Hunter's mark. Third shot. Finds nothing, but it's a good stall. No Storm Grenades. A spike will go down. Now, keep in mind, St. Mary has this KJ ult. Has the Neon ult. There's the KJ ult. Upstate have to run now. Breach stun almost connecting. Not quite. Phenomenal pick for that lurk. Upstate are now in a 5v3 situation in a post plant. They have a KJ. Committing Fade ult. I don't know about that one. KJ with a double though. Upstate, their timbers have to be shivered at this point. Shock Dart does connect. Second one. Ooh, just barely misses. They're not on. He's got to commit to this if he wants the round. But he's not going to be able to do it. Finds one more before he gets out. Almost catches Waylay as well, but he will die for that one. Upstate, finally on the board by the skin of their teeth. Now, that was very good. They played, as much as I was hating on it earlier, they played their solo game very well there. It did work out in their favor. They got great picks, but St. Mary did have to commit the KJ ult there and didn't win the round for it. They did get a lot of picks for it, but a win is a win, especially in this situation. You know, Upstate is looking kind of broke right now. Any money that they can get is going to be good money. It'll be good soup. Neon committing the ult. Full sending it up A. Stun doesn't connect. Dog connects, and he is picked off. No value out of that, except for the dog. Silva gets spotted out. Gets tapped up. Nothing much else aside from that. He's got info. St. Mary's sending their folks to B, but Upstate reading the play. They pull the cord and start slowly working to B. Yoral good here. Double backing over to A. Upstate trying to figure out what they want to do at this point. Spot Silva on A. Doesn't see much else. Waylay and Omen Smokes committed. It looks like they're headed to A. Yuppers. Not fully committing off it, though. They don't know if anybody snuck onto site after Yoru died. It has been a few seconds since. They know there's one heaven at least. Alarmbot down. Shock Dart connecting onto Fade. Second one doesn't find anything. That Guardian Spray is just a little bit too high. And he finally connects it. That is one down. Upstate in a 5v 2.2 situation. Find a quick double, though. Quickly traded. Upstate 2.5 versus 1.4. That Omen and Yoru, they're both hurting bad, folks. Somebody get them a prosthetic leg. There's one blind. Nothing committed off of it. Upstate, unaware he's still on the spike. Woo! Barely connects the spray. Quickly traded out. That's a triple for Yoru. And Upstate clutch the round. Woo! St. Mary's Omen has to be truly upset by that. He was probably 0.4 seconds away from getting that defuse. Honestly, if St. Mary's KJ had just gone over and shot into sewers or done anything other than sit in that corner, Upstate probably would have lost that round. And this would be a 10-1 situation. But Upstate are in a phenomenal spot here to set up what is dreaded throughout the entire region of Valorant, a 3-9 curse. Now, I myself am selectively superstitious. Waylay getting picked off though out of that Sova lurking in the sewers. Now, as I was saying, I myself am selectively superstitious. I believe in the 3-9 curse, but only for the winning team. Now here's why. Because it gives the losing team a sense of hope, and that can do one of two things. It can either give you a chance to come back. That's a triple for the Sova, by the way, while I'm yapping. Neon with a good stun. That's a quadra for Sova. Will they give him the ace this time? Yes, they will. That is an ace for St. Mary, and we are avoiding the dreaded curse of Valorant. All right. Now, as I was saying earlier, I believe the 9-3 curse only works for the winning team because it puts a sense of fear into them, but it also gives the losing team a false sense of hope. And what that does too is give you a false ego. And one of the biggest detriments to anybody that is not playing Reyna is ego. Well, unless you're playing Yoru, or Waylay, or Jet. Point is, egos can hurt you if you don't have a way of running away. Now, Upstate, looks like they're going for a pretty default setup here. KJ on C, Yoru Garage, 2A. But St. Mary are going for a default here. It looks like they're just going to rely on their pistol play to win the round, or at least to get a pick. Immediate smoke out of Upstate. Nothing else happening. St. Mary dancing around in their spawn, waiting for Upstate to continue to throw utility. And they're committing to a 5-man A. Upstate don't know. There's a ping. Omen smoke committed. That's a lot of utility going out. There's the fade and the Waylay picked off post-haste. Neon does get tapped up for it, but that is spiked down. Upstate in a 3v5. They've got a KJ going flank. They're about to meet. Oh, what incredible timing. They don't see each other. Oh, Breach with a fantastic pick. Upstate with a good pick. Neon with a quick trade. And there it is. Ooh, excuse me, folks. St. Mary 11-2. That was a great read off of them. They said, wait a minute. Our gunplay is on fire right now. We are smoking hot. Let's just run it A. And sure enough, it works in their favor. St. Mary 11-2. Upstate not able to fully react in time. I think if they had just stayed in heaven and simply run away, they would have been fine. They could have just played post-plant, you know? The only thing that they had committed for that round was the Omen smoke, and I think a fade dog, but don't quote me on that. Round starts, fade eye goes long, catches Bupkis. Neon spotted in garage, Bucky blows up the alarm bot, KJ with a great pick. Quickly traded though, a Vandal opening round 2. Somebody is feeling their ego. Now this could be really good for them, or if Upstate is able to somehow get that Vandal, it could turn this around for them. Grabs the Bucky. Attacks up KJ. Gets out. That is value. Omen quickly breaks the recon dart. Gets a good smoke down. Good flash, great stall. Dog sent too far away. Bucky comes out. That's a pick. Bucky won. Oh no, he didn't have enough shells in it. Upstate win the round regardless. That is a thrifty. That is absolutely detrimental for St. Mary's economy. Because not only did they commit a Vandal, I know for a fact they committed a Phantom and a Spectre as well. And some armor on top of that. Chat, those are expensive. Those cost a lot of money, and St. Mary is lacking in the funds department right now. Plus, not only does that give Upstate a round where they don't have to buy anything, they've got high-tier guns. They've got a Phantom. They've got a Vandal. They've still got that Spectre running around as well, not to mention the Bucky. St. Mary running it up B. Silva gets picked off, though. That is St. Mary's info. Locked down and out. Silva is taking a massive nap on the floor. Still looking like they want to commit, though. A good spray through the smoke. Finds 2 more. Finds 3. Finds 4. A dynamic duo between Yoru and KJ. Kills all of St. Mary. That is a flawless Upstate. 4 now. This is going in Upstate's favor tremendously. They are truly coming alive here, and I love to see it. And Jack Frost stuck his finger into my outlet. My game is frozen again. Never mind. We're good. I spoke too soon. All right, Upstate. Looking like they're going for their typical setup here. St. Mary doing another default. Quick Omen smoke. That's a good bait, too, because Upstate have to commit utility through to see through, or simply swing it and risk getting their head blown off. St. Mary not doing much of anything else, though. Trade of Omen smokes, but a dog is spent as well. Spraying the garage, doesn't find anything. Upstate not taking space like St. Mary was. St. Mary's going to get Garden for free. I committed, immediately shot, but St. Mary is balls to the wall A. This Waylay knows, he hears her, walks through. Not able to find one. Unfortunate. Valorant robbing him yet again of that headshot. Spike is now planted. Upstate, post-plant scenario. Good smoke. You're ready on the blind. Alarm bot falls through. Quick trades. KJ with a double. Those headshots are coming through. There's a triple now. Silva spotted long. Quick break on the swarm grenade. That's good. Good trade, though. Through that sewers. Finds a headshot, but it's a wall bang. There's the KJ committed. He's broken. He can... Yep, one goes to break. One gets it to half. Silva has to swing this. Pros don't fake, but it's detrimental to him. He's got to swing and get that kill quick. Finds the flick. I don't know if he's going to get it. Nope. Just short. Unfortunate. That was so close. Honestly, if he had committed there based on how far back Silva was, I think he could have gotten that. It probably would have been close on the same timing too, but, oh, that was absolutely tragic. Pros don't fake, folks, but pros also know that. They know each other. They don't fake. If Ullman had gotten off there and predicted that swing, this would have been a round for Upstate, but unfortunately, it was not. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. We are match point for St. Mary now. But Upstate have this KJ ult. Yours one away from his. St. Mary know what's been working for them. You're with a good TP out. Upstate finally getting a good read on this. They're sending everybody over. Fade with a good pick onto Silva. Quickly traded out by a Bucky. Vandal comes through as well for Waylay. Neon comes through, tries to get a pick. Not. There's a double. Quickly traded out. Upstate with a good round. KJ ult was committed a little bit late. But regardless, a win is a win. A win is in fact a win, folks. Upstate are now 5-12 with 2 ults on the board this time. That was a phenomenal gameplay from Upstate. They know that St. Mary has been going to A a lot. They know that this has been their favorite site, and what do? They punish it. Sprays down, utility spam into the choke points, and holding left click. The greatest way to kill somebody, chat, is a bullet straight to the headshot. All right, and we are back into it. St. Mary going for a B hit, but that's a your roll. They spot 2. St. Mary tracking him down. Quick jump spot, spots the rest of them. There's the breach ult. Omo with a good TP out. Smoke down. We are now playing retake. Same as last round. That's a good spray from both sides. Upstate taking the brunt of that, though. One more person lower than the St. Mary, but nobody dead. Oof, KJ getting picked off there. That was one of Upstate's low. Neonstone with some good stall. Alarm bot spotted and quickly traded off, but it's Upstate with a quick trade. St. Mary going it back. It's a good pick. 3v2. Omen Smoke is down. Breach lurking on site. Upstate completely unaware. They're about to get shot in the back. There's the side. And there's a spray through the smoke. St. Mary with a phenomenal D1 rat play out of Breach. Take Haven. What a game that was. A lot of great gunplay out of there, but St. Mary, I think, had just a good bit better of utility usage. They were holding their stuff a lot better. Plus, they were reacting instead of being proactive with it. Is that the right term? Yeah. English. I know English. I grew up here. Yeah. All right, our next map is going to be Pearl, followed by Corrode. Now, these are going to be very good maps for both comps, especially. I would love to see some changes, but that remains to be seen. We will be back in a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. I got some water. I am feeling a lot better now, and I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about a tournament that Upstate is going to be going to for not only Valorant, but also our Overwatch team. We are going to be going to the CEC Invitational, located just outside of Charlotte. It is going to be for 2 days, and we are going to be playing some of the top teams in the Big South while we are there. I will personally be going to play Overwatch as the team captain, so unfortunately I will not be able to cast that. They already have paid professionals that will be doing that. I am simply here just for the vibes. So, but we will be posting links to watch that when it happens, so please keep an eye out on our socials, and that will be sent whenever it becomes apparent. Now, the Overwatch team I am super excited for personally because we've already played a couple of these schools since the start of the year, and so being able to get our revenge on them would be so sweet, because revenge is best served cold, and it is absolutely freezing right now. But enough about me and my dreams. We are going to be getting back into Valorant momentarily. It looks like we are swapping around teams right now. Upstate is going to be defense on Pearl. It looks like they're having some difficulties with placements, so you get to stare at me for a little bit longer. For this CEC Invitational, this is going to be a lot of our guys' first time traveling for stuff. I have already traveled out of state for a previous tournament, but that is a very long story for a stream that is not right now. But that was an experience. We did win. As I've said before, a win is in fact a win. But it was a very interesting win, to say the least. But we will be traveling to Charlotte and staying overnight in a very nice hotel. And all the boys, we're going to have a lot of fun doing some tomfoolery, if you will, while we're there. But it looks like Valorant is now getting underway. We are booting it up. Here comes Pearl. And our observer has accidentally left the lobby. And this chat is why we can't have nice things. All right. We are back in the lobby. We are redoing ready checks. We will be in the lobby momentarily. As I said earlier, Upstate will be on defense, which means St. Mary is going to be on attack. I'm interested to see what they do here. I feel like they're going to stick with the Neon, with the Sova, most likely with the Breach as well. Not sure how much is going to be coming out of that, but here we go into Champ Select. A triple lock out of the gate for St. Mary. There's the Killjoy, there's the Fade. A Harbor instead of an Omen. That is certainly interesting. Now, are they double smoking? Ooh, interesting choice out of St. Mary. What's Upstate looking like? A Phoenix. Now there's something you don't see every day, chat. There's the Waylay as well, and there's Omen. St. Mary opting for a double smoke on attack. Upstate going for a double duelist on defend. Did I wake up on opposite day? Well, regardless, we're going to see how this plays out.
Hey, vote. No charges.
All right, Upstate. Ooh, a lot of pings coming out from St. Mary onto A, but it looks like they're going for a B hit. Upstate has a Sage as a sentinel that they are sending into mid. St. Mary sending their Omen up through mid. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like I would rather have maybe the Harbor go through mid, because then you can wall off you know, heaven or not heaven, scaffolding, whatever that bridge part is, along with CT. All right, here we go. Ooh, Waylay getting walked up, but immediately headshot, not able to get out. Upstate trying to get a lurk, and it works directly against them. Only getting a good pick as well onto that Sage, but Harbor's dinged up. There goes a bit. Neon, sorry, I had a minor stroke. Good pick from Phoenix. Has Molly, doesn't reload. Prowler out, there's a double for the Phoenix. Quickly traded out by KJ. Fade on site, there's an Omen lurking up behind them. Upstate, none the wiser. Good swing. All right, they know he's there. There's a pick off, 1v1, it's an Omen duel. He's not able to connect it and flick in time. St. Mary take the first round. And grabs a bandit on the way out. Like I was talking about earlier, I love seeing the bandit get used here, especially on somebody like Waylay, who, you know, maybe your util isn't the best for defending, so what do? You rely on your right hand and that left finger to just blow off the headshot, but unfortunately, Waylay did get picked off there on a cheeky little jiggle. St. Mary using their newfound economy to go B. Very interesting. Upstate surely hear the cacophony of footsteps. Yep, everybody is sprinting over. Harbor Cove, Fade Eye does spot the Omen, and he's immediately punished for that. Outlaw picked up. There's a double Spectre. Phoenix with a quick trade, though. Not able to get the gun. There's a good Molly. Trying to get a heal off, but gets walked down. Murdered immediately. A lot of bandits here, folks. I think we got to start calling Upstate 100 Thieves. Which one of them would be Gambit, the King of Thieves? Immediately shot in the back. That's a triple for the Harbor. And St. Mary take the round 2-0. Upstate do get some value out of that. There were a couple of guns that dropped there, but Upstate doing the opposite of what they were doing last time, chat. Before on Haven, they were using too much of their utility. Here I don't feel like they're using enough. Push your keyboard a little more, you know? Having your mouse is good, but like, you gotta hit some buttons too. All right, St. Mary. Very interesting play here. They're just going back and forth. Started making noise A, ended on B, committed to B. Now they're committing to A. Neon dashes out with a Bucky, but it's just a distraction. Fake Dog comes through and punishes. Phoenix Molly bounces somewhere. Flashes to run away a little bit. He didn't hear him drop. Neon dashes out. Caught on the wall, not able to dash out. GG utility diff. Phoenix with a good ult. Good turnaround. Gets a good pick. Pushes onto site. Spots KJ, but they know that's judged now. Upstate do not want to get anywhere near that. Gets a good pick. Trade it off. Spray going through. Connects it. This Phoenix has one more flash. Bounce flash. Saw the dog come through. The bite connects, but he doesn't know. Sees connects. Gets a swing. Good out. Oh, not able to fully connect it. That is a quadra for St. Mary's Fade, and Upstate lose their bye round. That is absolutely awful for them. Because for those of you that don't play Valorant or are just tuning in for my handsome looks, the way that Valorant works is, if you lose the first 2 rounds, afterwards you will be able to have enough money to buy maximum shields and a half-decent gun, such as the Vandal or the Phantom. And that is usually where teams get that win, start earning that winning bonus, and then pull that momentum through. If you lose that 3rd round, it absolutely crashes. Your money, your wallet is cut dry. All right, St. Mary going with the back and forth now, committing to a B hit. Omen sitting with the smoke in a spot he's already thrown it. Double smoke committed from both teams. St. Mary know that Sage has set up here. They said, no, I don't want to deal with that. And are now running back to A. Upstate. They had sonar mid. They know that this is a rotate, but will they get there quick enough? Phoenix throwing out the molly too early. Neon dash onto site. That harbor wall comes through. cuts off 2 of the 3 sites. That's a good pick out by that Neon, too. He's getting a lot of value out of just running headlong into people and holding left click. Phoenix and Waylay coming through library. There's an Omen ratting up behind them. Will they turn around? Alarmbot spots Phoenix. Connects. Omen comes through. Gets a double. KJ gets another one. And that is a flawless for St. Mary. 4-0. 3 ults on the board. Yes. I love this. I was just about to say, if I was Upstate, I'm calling a timeout here. And they do. Now, Upstate really need to find a way to use what they have to their advantage. I would love to see a combination of the Waylay stun, a Phoenix, of either a Waylay stun and a Sage slow, and a Phoenix Molly all together, or maybe even a Fade Root as well, to just really melt through St. Mary's health bars. That Phoenix Molly does a surprising amount of damage if you dip your toes in it, even just a little bit. Now, St. Mary, on the other hand, they, continuing with, almost with the theme of last time, this is a very dynamic group here, but this is more so of a reactive crew, I feel like. Now, obviously, you have the Neon that can dash on the site, and the Fade that can get the info out with that Eye and the dogs. But you have a Harbor and an Omen who aren't as good at initiating stuff. Now, Harbor, especially for Pearl, you're able to commit your Omen smokes to one site, and if you don't like it, you can just take the Harbor wall and snake it around to the other site. But you need to have the utility to get onto site. If you commit the Omen smokes and then your Neon dashes and they die, the Harbor smokes ain't really going to do a whole lot for you when you've got a Fade Eye, a Phoenix Flash, and a Waylay stun to all deal with. Round starting. St. Mary breaking the chain of normalcy, doubling down on a B hit. Upstate. Upstate Sonar picks it up, but chat, they're walled off. Upstate was expecting a mid hit as well, but St. Mary don't fall for it. Fade Eye doesn't spot anything out. St. Mary have committed their smokes, and there goes the Harbor wall. They're going to commit to this. Fatal up mid, doesn't find anything. Omen, St. Mary Omen committing his ult into mid. He's behind Sage, but Sage doesn't know. He's sitting there waiting for a rotate. Upstate have already gone around through their spawn. Phenomenal pushes out of Upstate. They find 4 in a matter of seconds. And this Omen, what's he gonna do? He's got nothing left in the tank, chat. That is a flawless for Upstate on the board a lot sooner than the last round. They have got to be feeling good about themselves there. Upstate had a phenomenal read on that right there. Upstate sat up, they locked in, and they realized, wait, we're better. And what did they do? They played their stuff. They used their utility phenomenally with each other. Those Sage slows, those Phoenix Mollies, the Omen smokes. They're smokes. Kind of hard to mess those up. But what I love to see out of them was that flank. That flank was so good. That was a phenomenal read. St. Mary have a Killjoy that usually sets up, say, an Alarmbot or a turret to watch that. But they haven't because Upstate never went on the flank. They paid the price for it. Phoenix with a phenomenal pick. That is one of St. Mary's 2 smokes that are now gone. Phoenix able to jump the wall, but he's not going to get much value out of that. He comes back. Upstate with the read that there's an 8 push, but not able to get a pick for it. Hardly any damage done at all as well. All right, St. Mary know that there was info sent there, but they're going to get a good potential read onto Upstate's overcommitment here. St. Mary going to get a phenomenal read here. Upstate send 1, maybe 2. Are they going to committing the Omen ult? Checking for info. All 4 spotted. Upstate hit the turbo. They're running over to B, but they're not going to be able to get it. KJ caught with his fly down. Spike is down. That's a great pick for the Sage who has res, but not very likely going to commit it, especially because they died all the way over a day. Oh, getting a pick off. St. Mary fine too. Phoenix jump down. Flash does connect. Runs away. Accidentally picks off the fade, trying to help his Neon escape. Harbor ult committed. There's a good blind, but he's not able to find it. Phoenix with a quadra. Finds 4. Upstate, after that timeout, are cooking up a storm. Somebody must have snuck Remy into the arena, folks. Nick's hat is looking a little bit higher. I think he's got a little chef under there. Upstate, a phenomenal round out of that. They did get picked off at the start, but they had a phenomenal take back. This looks to be Upstate's map. I know the start of this was a bit hard, but Upstate are able to find their flow. They're getting into the groove. They are locked in for round 7. Fade going over. They know it. They know at least one person is A. There's a Harbor lurking mid. Gets spotted. Nothing much else committed of it. Upstate over committing into mid. They've only seen one. All they know is Harbor's there. They've left A site completely open, but there's an Omen smoke to deter them. Good pick out of Sage. Quick self-heal. And he's rearing to go. Fade with a good rotate. Finds 1, finds 2. That Sage res is now down. That is detrimental to Upstate. That's good ult. They know Omen right on the backside. Finds, not able to find him. Unfortunate. Upstate in a 2v1 situation now. Spike is not down. It is going through backside with KJ. Do they check library? Oh no, he made a half step. Chat, that is tragic for him. They know he's there now, but do they? They've set up an alarm bot. They're not holding it. There comes the dog. There's the alarm bot. Sprays down both, but this could be, oh, has a smoke. Doesn't know he came through. Oh, there's an elbow poking through. 9 bullets. Hot swap onto a Vandal. Gets a good spray down. Almost kills him. Good pop and swing. Oh. He hears the steps. Does he know? Sees that. Oh, not able to react in time. Unfortunate for Upstate. Woo! Bit of an aura farm out of that fade, not dying to the spike. Honestly, I don't like that Omen smoke. You heard him coming down. Surely you must have known that he was hit. Me personally, I'm ego checking that. I'm running around the corner saying, hey, run it. I would have taken the gunfight. But I am sitting in the caster's booth. They are the ones playing the game. All I can say is if, ands, and buts. But no coconuts. Bars. Right. Upstate. Double duelist up to A. Getting aggressive. Grabs the orb. Is that Waylay ult? Yes, it is. That is 3 ults for Upstate and 3 ults for St. Mary. Big Dog committed. That's a spray through. Sage is going to have to patch up her legs and arms. Gets most of it back on. Maybe a couple of scrapes and bruises. St. Mary still working this default. That Sage wall mid finally getting some really good value here. St. Mary going towards A. They heard those neon stuns, but nothing else is getting shown. They think it's a fake. Fake Dog gonna go through. A quick flick to the left would have caught that, but he doesn't. There's a smoke. Phoenix ult committed. Not finding much of anything. He's got to run up. He's got to find something here. Anything. Finds a turret. That's value. It's something for something. KGO committed. Olo with a good pick, though. I missed this, chat. Upstate's on an eco round here. Finds another one. Oh, I lied. Wrong team. All right, there we go. Ooh. caught with his fly down trying to plant. Quickly traded back, though. Upstate in a 3v5 situation. They have res. There's one. There's two. One for each side. Ooh, Harbor gets caught out. Waylay's just going to jump on it. He knows he's coming. Has stun. Has dash back. Crosshair too high, too left. Harbor's just going to pop and swing that junk and get a spray down. Oh. That's got to hurt. That has got to hurt for Upstate. They were so close to winning that round. Honestly, Upstate needed that too. They needed that, especially off of a bye round. If they had gotten that, that would have been great, not only for their eco, but also for the momentum as well. This game has been very back and forth. If Upstate had won that one, back-to-back-to-back, 3 rounds in a row, that would have done massive damage to St. Mary's mentality. My brain is having an aneurysm, chat. Please bear with me. St. Mary going for another default here. Committed the Sage Wall to Library instead. Interesting choice. Honestly, a good read based on how St. Mary's been going. They have been going to B a lot. It makes sense that they would want to go A this time. Upstate heard that spike drop on B, though. They're moving Fade over. Dog spots 1. They hear the turret as well. They know there's 2 B minimum. St. Mary are playing the crossfire game. Upstate being smart and not overcommitting here. St. Mary dangling that bait of spike in front of them. In front of Upstate. A very slow game. There's that Waylay ult primed and ready. Fade Eye just gets spotted out. Neon with a quick dash up. Bit by the dog. Almost smoke. Fade Eye. Harbor bubble. Oh, unfortunate! If that Waylay had kept his gun out, he could have gotten that. The smoke is going to save that flash, though. Sage, shot in the back. St. Mary with a phenomenal use of time there. Take the round, only losing 1 in the mid. Upstate kind of gave up too much space there. I liked how they weren't overcommitting and pushing into this neutral territory, but at the same time, they gave up a lot of their side of stuff too. That's going to be a timeout for Upstate, so I get to yap more. Now, what I think Upstate is doing really good here is they are definitely making more use of that Phoenix utility, of that Sage utility especially. Omen and Fade have already had really good use of their stuff. I still want to see more out of this Waylay. You know, I would have loved to see him, especially on that last round, maybe dash out, find somebody, and then immediately recall. See that there was 2 coming up, send the ult, get the pick. Now, St. Mary, on the other hand, they are doing a very good mix of everything. They're not doing one thing in particular well, in my semi-professional opinion. They're sort of hitting everything equally. The neon walls are pretty good. The Fade Eyes are good. All the smokes are good. KJ utility, not a whole lot of value out of it. But they are on attacker. You can't do a whole lot as KJ on attacker unless it's post plant or you're doing flank watch. Sorry, my man button's getting pulled down. And we are back to live. St. Mary with that play onto A, but there's a Phoenix wall. Quick grab onto Orb. He's not gonna get punished for it. Whoa! Hit the turbo! And he's safe. That is Phoenix ult, but all he's got is a Sheriff. All right, there's the Neon and Fatal committed out of St. Mary, and the Omen ult as well, but Upstate don't know. Neon jumps past. Oh no, the Sheriff running out of ammo, and there's 3 staring him down. There is nothing he can do there. A flick of the coat, a flop to the ground. Even more bars. Someone get me in a recording studio. Spike is down for St. Mary, though. Oh, Harbor caught with his pistol out. A blind out of Omen. He knows the Harbor's there, but he's not able to do anything about it. 3v5 for Upstate. They get 1 more pick before it goes out, but that is going to be another round in favor of St. Mary. 8-2. Now, I loved that Waylay was getting a lot more value out of his utility there, you know? He got that stun on the side. He did go for a dash, but I don't like that the Phoenix ult was committed there. Now, if he had something like, say, a Shorty or a Frenzy or even an Outlaw, I would definitely understand wanting to commit the Phoenix ult there to try to go for a pick. But, my guy, you've got a Sheriff. You have to hit a full sprint Neon that is dancing around all over the place while getting Fade ulted. We are not prime 10s here. We do not have the kind of money for that scholarship. I would have loved to have seen him hold it here, especially for this round where he has a full Vandal. But Upstate, reading the wrong flavor of book. Only gets a good spray, but that is still going to be St. Mary with what is essentially a free B site. They did commit some utility for it, but Upstate with 3 ults here, only 1.5 that can be Waylay. Oh, really the only one that can be used offensively here. Unfortunately, though, he is going to be in B. Good Omen blind out from St. Mary. Phoenix with a good spray down. Waylay going to be dashing over. Can't find anybody. Upstate's killed everybody else. Finds a good pick, though. And that is going to be Upstate committing only two of their 3 ults there. But I love seeing the Sage res used here as well. Because primarily what Upstate need more than anything right now is, say it with me, folks, embrace your Mr. Krabs. Money, 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 money. Upstate are a little bit broke here. They have just enough money to buy a gun, their utility, and full shields. So hitting that res there, while it may not be the most ideal scenario, at the end of the day, money is money. Now, St. Mary. Ooh. We got some D1 Radar plays here, chat. They are doubling back to A. And here we go. Sage Barrier committed to mid. Ooh. I like this. He's been throwing it mid a lot, so they're expecting it to be true, but there's a fat gap there for a man to sneak through. He's lurking mid. Phoenix only committed. Not going to spot the Omen to the side! The lurker gets out lurked. Upstate, down a man. That is all of Fade's utility minus 1 dog, I believe. St. Mary, knowing they got to pick mid, are full sending it to B, and Upstate are clutching their pearls on A. Their timbers are still shivered. They think this is an A push. Harbor utility, smoke comes through, Neon stun, Neon wall, KJ turret, that's 3 people. There's 2 mid, Waylay's making a lot of noise through mid though. There's gonna be a fight, and that's 2 of Upstate going down. The Odin, the big man Blastoise gun, finds 2. Ooh, a good Fade sees there. They know he's there, or do they? Darwin going to have to play the greatest game of Valorant of his life if he wants to clutch this up, but I don't know if he's got the time for it. Odin's going to come through. Alarm bot catches. Neon running in behind. There's the Odin singing for a triple. And here we have the 3-9 curse. Now, as I talked about earlier, I am selectively superstitious, and I believe in the 3-9 curse, hoping that it goes in Upstate's favor, but passively skeptical. I think that's how you say it. Don't quote me on that. But I'm interested to see how Upstate plays this, especially because they have 2 duelists and a Fade. Upstate has a lot of potential here to be very aggressive very quickly. I would love to see them, especially on this pistol round, just absolutely guns ablaze, Phoenix ablaze, send it onto A. If only there was a raise. I from St. Mary is going to be short. It's not going to catch anything. But still passively skeptical. St. Mary, no, there's 2. There's Sage lurking mid. The 2 know of each other. Omen knows he's coming, but will he have the timing? Gets spotted out. There's a quick fight. Phoenix gets picked off. Waylay with a quick trade. Waylay with a double. Omen with a quick trade back, though. It's a 3v3. Post plant for Upstate. Fade is walking up, spots his elbow, gets a wallbang, a headshot. You know he is salty about that one. Spots him coming in CT. Collegiate with a quick one. Upstate with a quick trade back, though. That's a triple for this Waylay. KJ on a thumb's worth of health. Quick tap. Blind goes through. Doesn't connect. KJ walking around. He's spotted. He doesn't know about the Waylay. Ring around the rosy. Here is my ghosty. That's a quadra. Upstate win. I love seeing that for Nebula, especially because this Waylay ult can be absolutely detrimental to teams on attack. For those of you that don't know what it does, it is essentially, if you are facing this direction, screw your monitor. Not only does it stun you, it turns everything gray, and it gives you a mild concussion, tinnitus, ringing, monitor shaking. It sucks to get hit by, and it feels like it lasts for an eternity. I would love to see him absolutely farm the crap out of this ult. Call him Jeremy Clarkson. Upstate playing an aggressive here. Sage is going to get picked off in mid. There's a shorty quickly traded out. He's got to be hacking. That was a phenomenal flick there. Upstate lose two, but they've got the guns for it. Fake Dog connects. Harbor is dead. Omen plant. Spike planted. 3v3. Oh, Outlaw with a pick. Outlaw with a double. I'm sorry, that's a triple for the man. All right, Waylay, what you got? Spotted out by the eye. Unfortunate for Upstate. If he had shot that eye, there's a decent chance that he could have stalled that out a little bit longer. I would have loved to have seen Upstate take a much more aggressive angle here, especially because this is your buy round. You know, you walk up, take some space, fight mid. Take space. You have the guns. You may not have the utility, but at the end of the day, a Spectre beats out an Outlaw. Usually. Most of the time. Regardless, I would have loved to have seen Upstate play a bit more aggressively there. It feels like they're almost scared to fight St. Mary here. And I immediately shot out. Ooh, that's a new skin. Shiny. There's an Odin singing out of Harbor. Judge mid, quickly lose that fight though. Sage gets the pick. Missing a couple of limbs, but will get patched up. Weary of that Odin flank, but he is holding down that Judge. He does not want to give Upstate the time or chance. Timing not in his favor. That is a light machine gun round straight to the head. Fade Dog will come out, gets the bite, gets the kill. There's Sheriff, unaware that there's a Fade lurking on site. There's a double, quickly traded off though. He grabs a gun, he grabs Spike, jumps in. Oh no! Ooh. St. Mary thought they had a good read there. Phoenix Wall comes through. Flash doesn't connect onto the Omen, holding a pixel corner. That is a round to St. Mary. He plays Rainbow Six Siege, folks. Now that was some phenomenal reaction time out of St. Mary right there. You know, especially for holding that tight of an angle. Also the luck for St. Mary and unfortunacy for Upstate for that flash to not connect. It's hard to tell based off of the minimap, but that was probably that far away from connecting onto him. He definitely saw the flash on his screen pop, but it unfortunately did not affect him. Upstate St. Mary are 2 away from winning this map. Here we go. Almost Smokes quickly committed. There's the Waylay ult. Fade ult for return. That is a triple spray down for St. Mary. Hitter spotted. I will spot him. Unfortunate, crosshair is just a little bit too low. St. Mary with a phenomenal read onto Upstate there, and they lock it down. That Fade ult was absolutely detrimental for Upstate's personal well-being. Now, for those that don't know, Fade ult, what it does is, when you get hit by it, 3 things happen. First, your headphones turn off. The only thing that you hear is the sound of 100,000 damned souls screaming into your ear. Second, there is a line from you to the enemy Fade that threw the ult. Third thing, you lose half of your health, whatever that, or no, I'm sorry, you lose 75. 50 of that comes out of your armor, and then 25 out of your health, or depending on whatever maths, you lose 75. But it comes back after a short delay. All right, St. Mary going for a default here. They left Spike behind. They're just looking for picks here. Upstate find the first pick, quickly traded back. St. Mary foregoing the B hit, realizing that KJ normally sets up there. Or I'm sorry, Upstate. Sorry, folks, that stroke is coming back. St. Mary with a good pick, though. That Judge putting in good work. Neon Stun not able to connect in time. That's a wall bang for the Phoenix. Watch out, chat. That's an Odin. Not able to find much value out of it. Omen is half health. Upstate. Looks like they're going to be doubling back towards B. St. Mary, what will you do? Omen smoke is good. Alarm bot immediately broken. Good flick there. He is going to get sprayed through, though. Commits the Omen ult into heaven. Upstate down to the wire on this. He gets picked off before he can plant. Spikes down. He gets a good trade. He knows the Omen's there. Gets it. Upstate will have time to get this down, but they don't know where this Omen is. Upstate are in a post-plant situation with no info. Holding their corners well here. They know this Omen has to swing one of 2 things. The smoke is down. They're walking up. Pros don't fake, but we're not the Pro League, folks. Good lurk on the Phoenix, and Upstate clutch the round out. Odin and Guardian in hand. That was a great play out of Upstate right there. They got the initial read that, wait a minute, St. Mary probably set up a lot here. I don't want to play that right now. So they left. They got a pick. Unfortunately, got traded for it. But regardless, St. Mary pulled off of B, went towards that mid and A side. And Upstate got a really good push on the B side. And ultimately, it won them the round. Now, Upstate have the Phoenix ult, but St. Mary have their Killjoy ult. Upstate getting a good read that KJ likes to play B. St. Mary getting a counter read. Sage with a phenomenal pick. A step and a half from death's door. He will get healed up, though. Hey, Phoenix, that's your own team's. Good flick, though. Love the reaction time. Spike is down. That is 2 ults for Upstate. Ooh, Waylay quickly picked off, though. Caught steppin'. There's the KJ ult. Upstate have to respect that. They have no way of breaking it. All right. Oh, Upstate with a phenomenal spray, though. Harbor ult committed. The spray is just a little high. That's a triple for the Harbor. He's going for the post plant, and he gets it. That's a quadra for the Harbor. And St. Mary win not only the map, but the whole of tonight, folks. That was a best of 3, and St. Mary take 2. But regardless, Upstate had a phenomenal game there. They played their best. They played well, but unfortunately, St. Mary played just a little bit better. Now, tomorrow, we are going to have some very interesting stuff coming up. I would have loved to see them play Corrode, but that's just not the way the cookie crumbled tonight, chat. Now, tomorrow, we are going to have not 1, but I believe 2 games casted, both of which, unfortunately, I will not be there for, as I will be playing for the Marvel Rivals game from 8 to 10 and the Overwatch game from 10 to midnight. That is 8 to 10 p.m. and then 10 p.m. to midnight. just for clarification, because I did have some difficulty setting that up with my team. But regardless, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for sticking around. My name is Mitch, and I will see you tomorrow for both matches. Good night.